Ruben Amorim is determined to get himself sacked from this Manchester United job. Man U, Sunday, evening game against Manchester City, one of their biggest rivals. And he goes and puts out a team which is not suitable. That team is not deplete. It is just ridiculous. How do you set up like that to go and play any team in the Premier League, later on Manchester City? Right. So Ruben Amorim is having a complete nightmare. He is determined to have a back three, basically playing 3-5-2 or 3-5-1-1, whatever he's doing, but it is not working. It is a complete and utter disaster for him. And he has come out and said, I am not going to change. The personnel needs to change to suit me. Excuse me, sir. What planet is this guy living on? You know, does he know the kinds of players he has got? He is so naive. He is so delusional and so naive. You know, there are times we understand, we've all been there. I'm an Arsenal fan. I have been there where I've seen managers make mistakes, which they didn't understand their mistakes. They were not always obvious, but you could see that they were trying to change it. I reckon Ruben Amorim's issues can be sorted very easily by changing the formation of that side. Why would you want to have a back three when you've got freaking, you know, those wingers Man City have got? Every Premier League team is going to be looking forward to playing Manchester United, and they are going to be very successful because that lineup he put out was pathetic today, and they lost 3-0. If I was a Man U player, I'd be trying to get him sacked as well, because what is the point of a manager who doesn't know what he's doing? I don't think he knows what he's doing. I made a mistake. I thought this is a manager who was going to get Manchester United back in it, but if his attitude is like, I'm not going to change anything, the Premier League will have to change to me. Yeah, sorry, Man U, you guys are toast. So you set up like this: Bayinda in goal, Luke Shaw, delete Euro as a back three, then Doku, Ugarte, Bruno Fernandes, and Mazraoui. One of my favorite players. I really like Mazraoui, one of those players who is quite aggressive and everything, but he's being wasted. Diallo Mbuemo in sort of like attacking midfield kind of position. And Benjamin Sesko, whatever he's pronounced. And yeah, it just doesn't work. Can you please find another fullback? In fact, you've got to, find another fullback. Play a 4-3-2 or whatever. I don't know how you're going to set up, but basically play a 4-4-2, play a 4-5-1, just have 4 in the back. Make sure there's a defensive midfielder protecting that back 4. Then you're going to protect yourself from conceding goals against every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Manchester City, on the other hand, have got Donnarumma in goal. You know, everyone, I think if you've been listening to me the last 3 months since I've started this channel, I am super impressed with Donnarumma from PSG in the Champions League campaign last season. I thought he was one of the standout performers. I don't know what happened at PSG, why he was let go or pushed out. But whatever the case, you know, Manchester City have got themselves honestly a sweet deal. Ruben Dias is back. I haven't seen him play for ages. Gvardiol, you remember Gvardiol. Those goals he used to score when he came back. He came. Nico O'Reilly, one of the young kids, Bernardo Silva, Rodri is back as well. They missed him last season. The injury he had was ridiculous. I think he got the injury pretty early on in the season in the game against Arsenal where Thomas Partey and him sort of collided. It wasn't Thomas Partey's fault, but you know, sometimes the most innocuous incidents on the pitch can rule you out forever and ever and ever for a really long time. Rangers, I'd like to see more of him. That's for Man City. Phil Foden, he scored back-to-back against Man U, so he has scored and then 2 goals from Erling Haaland, who is going to try and go for that golden boot again. Jeremy Doku, those started. as well. But yeah, overall, Manchester City, I think, were gifted 3 points by Man U because Man U's manager is completely foolish and idiotic. Let's move on because I can't be dealing with Man U right now. Let's talk about the demonically lucky Liverpool. Liverpool, that goal which they scored, first of all, they got a player sent off for Burnley. Ogochukwu. I knew it was him. He got sent off for a second yellow card. I thought, considering it was a second yellow card, it could have been a bit more lenient. But, Michael Oliver was he could not wait to give that. Only moments before, that was moments after, where there was a potential throw in for Burnley. He gave it to Liverpool, and you could see the Burnley the player was just on the floor. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Hannibal. Actually it wasn't. He was on the floor with his head in his hands, like, come on, we can't catch a break, because they had been absorbing tremendous amounts of pressure for most of the game. They were absorbing so much pressure, and they only had minutes to go. And then the red card was given to Ogochukwu. He felt a bit unfair. He could have been let go. Handball in the 18th. There was no doubt it was a penalty. There was none of those things where you even think, maybe the ref could have been lenient. It was a straight 100% penalty. And in my mind, I thought, these guys, you know what they did? Like when you watch Supernatural, the series, and at the beginning where you go to a crossroads and do a deal with the devil. That's what is beginning to feel like with Liverpool. They must have done a deal with the devil, and I'm hoping pretty soon the devil will come and collect, because they cannot keep getting this lucky. It's game after game. Game after game. Last game against Arsenal, a crazy free kick straight in the top corner of the net, past Raya, past the wall, beautiful from Soberslide. Today, penalty put away by, Mr. Penalty, Mo Salah, Ballon d'Or contender. You know what I mean? These guys are so lucky that you sit there and you're just thinking, come on, when are Arsenal going to catch a break? The other thing that is really winding me up now is Arne Slot's behavior on the touchline. The guy was like screaming, pointing fingers. Right. One thing that I'm really concerned about at the moment, and really irritating me to high heavens, is Arne Slot's behavior on the touchline. He was spitting feathers at something, every decision, even his players. You remember against Arsenal where you had Konate, you had Van Dijk really trying to bully the keeper. And in the end it worked, but I'm hoping, eventually to stop working for them, because they really rode their luck today. Sometimes you earn your luck, and they did, I guess, by being so, just the aggression. They earned it in the end, I guess, but from a penalty with a minute to go in the game, they got it. But that kind of luck doesn't last you much further. And if they struggled against Burnley, they're going to struggle against certain teams. Definitely going to struggle a lot more against other teams, even like Sunderland, places like that. They are going to be dropping silly points, because Sunday, today, they were super lucky. In my opinion, in Arsenal would never get that. Sometimes I think it's our fault, because, that cross, that Frimpong attempted, maybe we wouldn't have done it the same way. I really do get jealous about Liverpool and the way they approach games, to be fair, because look at how they achieved everything they achieved last season. You have to wonder if your team can do that. But I think Arsenal is getting there. They are definitely defending champions for a reason. They do everything they have to do to get the points, and they did it today. The way they do it sometimes is not great, but at the end of the day, they are the ones with an open top parade. Right, let me do a quick roundup. Liverpool won 1-0, by the way, if I didn't say it. We all know Mo Salah with a dirty penalty. I'm not going to be, he celebrated like he won the Champions League as if he had done no sorts of miracles. But Hannibal is a complete moron for that. But maybe it was just too much pressure. Let's see if I am able to have a look at Saturday's games. I'll definitely have, let me get started with the match against Nottingham Forest. You know, I already said something about Arsenal beating Nottingham Forest 3-0. It was one of those performances that really impressed everybody who's an Arsenal fan, because that's what we are focusing on at right now. We cannot be focusing on anyone else other than Arsenal fans, because we have been our own biggest critics, in my opinion. Yes, some people have criticized us, but we know our weaknesses. We know where we went wrong in the last 3 seasons. And we have literally, I think, come to a point where we've got very little patience. We are so relieved to see players like Noni Madueke, Eberechi Eze playing for Arsenal, because we can compare them directly to our rising stars over the last 3 seasons. We can compare them to Gabriel Martinelli, to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, everyone know, for me, he's number one. The way he plays with his brain, you know. He's not as physical because he's smaller in stature and he needs to be stronger, but he can do everything else. Even without the strength that Noni is showcasing and the physical presence, Saka for me is definitely the number one. Noni, though, was more direct. He plays a more direct game. Oh, but before I even go there, I reckon the injury Saka is getting is because he's trying to get bigger. I hope he just stops it. Try and maintain that the way you can look at Messi. Messi didn't have to bulk up too big. Just focus on your game. Stop trying to get bigger. You're probably, you know, stretching your muscles a bit too much. Noni Madueke, sensational. I am so happy that from the first day before he even signed, when the rumors were there, I was rooting for him because I saw him play at Chelsea. You know, I watch games mostly, even like you can tell I've got favorite players in even our biggest rivals. In Manchester United, I've got players I like to watch. In Liverpool, I've got players I like to watch. In Manchester, every team. In Barcelona, Real Madrid, there are players I think, oh, this is a wonderful player. And I can watch football like that. I'm not tribal. Not completely tribal. Let's rephrase that. So Noni is doing everything that I thought he could do for Arsenal, and I think we have still got more to see. Eberechi Eze, on the other hand, I knew I wanted him because I heard other fans talk about his ability and what he had to give and what he could do for Arsenal. So I was happy enough to sort of heed to them. And immediately, you can see exactly what he adds to the team. And this guy on the volley, one time, he is literally like, bam, you know, it's in. It crosses in, and there's somebody, you know, at the end of it. And that is how Gyökeres got his goal against Nottingham Forest. Fantastic, awesome stuff. So very excited about our future games. Let's see what happens in the Champions League in midweek. Right. So Saturday night, we had Chelsea versus Brentford. It was a 2-2 draw. I think I did a little preview and I said it's going to be a draw because they've had a 2-2 draw before, Brentford Chelsea. And I watched this game and I was like blinking. Heck, it was one of those up-down ones. The last goal, a bit of controversy, blah, 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 whatever, to draw. Chelsea are doing what Arsenal have done in previous seasons where they look like, oh, they might do something. Then they end up not doing anything, because it's definitely a lot harder than it looks. But yeah, Cole Palmer scored, if I remember right. Let me check what happened. Yeah, Cole Palmer and Caicedo scored, and then Sade and Carvalho scored in the 93rd minute. But yeah, it was quite interesting, quite funny. There are some games which you can sort of see sometimes. So Fulham beat Leeds 1-0. I definitely didn't watch that match. I've had a very busy weekend, so bear with me. West Ham lost 3-0 to Tottenham. There was a red card involved. Then, of course, we have the Brentford result. So yeah, it wasn't a crazy busy day. And then, of course, the Arsenal 3-0 against Thingy. The Newcastle beat Wolves 1-0. Everton drew with Aston Villa 0-0. I thought that would be one of those games as well. But I did think Everton might win because Grealish effect. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he's tired already. I hope not. Palace Sunderland was also another 0-0 draw. Crazy. Gosh. Saturday was boring. Bournemouth Brighton seemed to have been more interesting, with Bournemouth scoring 2-1. And those were at the weekend roundups. You know, guys, I am going to have to go and join the family. In the meantime, you know what? Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with other friends and people you think might enjoy my content and help me grow my channel. I would really appreciate it. But right now, let me go and do another video about the boxing that happened between Canelo versus Terence Crawford, because there's a lot to talk about there. Have a look at my videos and see if you like them. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the week for the Champions League's fixtures. Talk to you soon, you guys. Bye-bye.